the meeting and just keeping quiet. That is not acceptable. All right. Okay, good morning, and we will start our next session today. I hope the slides are visible. Lecture number 10. So in this class, now we will be discussing about the full wave rectifier. So we will just go through the circuit and we will see the derivation of DC load current, load voltage, RMS load current, load voltage of a full wave rectifier. Also, if time permits, we will cover up derivation of percentage regulation, rectification efficiency, ripple factor, and PIV of full wave rectifier. Okay. Before we proceed, I would like to remind you that is recap of the previous class. This is the summary, the derivations what we had for half wave rectifier. So the peak load current IM for practical diode, we derived it to be Vm by Rf plus RL, and for ideal diode, we would be taking Rf is equal to 0. So it would be Vm by RL. And load current, DC load current IDC, it is Vm by pi by Rf plus RL. Okay. So for ideal condition, it is Vm by pi by RL. RMS load current, just verify your expressions there. Is it matching with these? RMS, IRMS, we found it to be Im by 2. And for ideal, it is, again, taking Rf is equal to 0, substituting Rf is equal to 0 there. Then VDC, Vm by pi by 1 plus Rf by RL. And for ideal, it is Vm by pi again. Just verify. Percentage regulation, we found it. The expression is Rf by RL into 100. And for ideal diode, it is 0. Ripple factor, we derived for half wave rectifier for practical diode and ideal diode condition, it is 1.21. All right. And rectification efficiency, we got the expression 0.406 by 1 plus R by RL. And for ideal diode, it is simply 40.6%. And PIV, we derived it to be the Vm value for both the conditions, right? Just I want to recall things to you. Even this RMS voltage, we can calculate using analytical method, that is taking the integration of the parameter within one period. That is, for one period, we can calculate the RMS value of, say, voltage or the current. So using that, we can derive, or we get this expression, Vrms is equal to V peak by root 2. Okay, that is Vm by root 2. Or in other words, you can say Vm is equal to root 2 into Vrms. This derivation, if you are interested, again, we have already derived, in fact. I can share that in Google Classroom. You can just go through. Okay, we can, in a simple way, using analytical method, we can find Vrms using this expression as well, which will be taking as Vm by root 2. Okay. Just note this. You can take it down. Vrms, it is a simple expression. Vrms is equal to Vm by root 2. Okay. So using this, now you will solve this problem and give the answer in the chat box. And you will have, say, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes, 10 minutes time. All of you will solve this and give the answers in the chat box.
Ma'am, can you show the previous slide?
Previous slide. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So this is your question. A diode whose internal resistance of 20 ohms is used to supply power to a 1000 ohms load from a 110 volt source of supply. Calculate peak load current DC load current, AC load current, total, sorry, yes, is anyone asking anything? Total power input to the circuit and percentage regulation. Just see if you are able to solve that. First, understand the question and see how to proceed. One point to note here, if the transformer turn ratio, if it is not given, we will always take N1 by N2 to be 1. Okay. In all the numericals, if transformer turn ratio, if it is not given, then you will take N1 by N2 is equal to 1. I hope you are trying. Very good. Just verify, is it 155? Just verify, Jason. Yeah. Don't be in a hurry. Yeah. Correct. Jane Disa is giving answers. I got answer from Jason and Jane. I hope all of you are trying. You can take 10 minutes. So we started at 8:09 minutes. Okay, maybe this has answered. Correct. All of you, I hope you're trying and you're getting the answers. So all expressions you have already, you have to just substitute and find the answers. What about others? Are you trying? You have to try there. What about others? All have to give the answer. And please don't share answers among your friends. I want them to try. If you have doubt, you don't know how to proceed, you have to ask here. Is there anyone who don't know how to proceed? Yeah, all the hints were given there. Okay, let me wait for another 3 minutes. I'll see if I get the answers.
Ma'am, is the peak voltage 155 volt?
If the peak voltage is
155 volts.
correct. 155.56
I was
volts.
confused.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Godson, you're right. Anusha Rebelor, you're right. Annalisa De Silva, you're right. Emlyn, proceed with other parameters. Wilson, you're right. Proceed. Complete all the parameters there. Yeah, Kate, you're right. Yeah, correct. Good. All are trying. Yeah, I hope all of you to try. Many left actually. 60 were there and they left. Yeah, I want answers from all of you. Last 1 minute, yeah, complete fast.
Ma'am, is percentage like 2%?
Sorry?
Like
Yes, yes.
the answer for fifth one is 2%.
Correct. Okay, I'll note down how many of you have replied and given your answers. Let me take the reply here from the chat box so that I'll come to know how many of you were able to do it. Yeah, okay, you can stop now. I've got the answers. Okay, I hope you are able to see the screen here, the PDF file.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here, okay, all right. Now we will proceed with full wave rectifier. So, full wave rectifier, again, as the name suggests, here the rectification process is nothing but you're converting AC signal to DC signal. Okay, so in full wave rectifier, as I mentioned in the previous class, in both the cycles you will be getting the output. Okay, so the output what we got from the rectifier output, that is half wave rectifier, we saw that it was pulsating DC or varying DC, right? So in half wave rectifier, the output we had for only positive cycles. So if we increase the number of diodes that we use in the circuit, then we can also adjust the circuit in such a way that even in the negative cycle, we can get the output in both positive as well as negative cycles. Okay, so using different number of diodes, say 2 or more diodes in the circuit, and arranging them in such a way, if you are getting output from both positive and negative half cycles, all right, so that is a circuit what you can imagine for full wave rectifier. So again, rectification, you have to recall that you are trying to convert AC signal into DC signal, right? So of course, the output what we are getting here is pulsating DC, that we have to keep in mind. So in the further classes, we will be discussing how to reduce this ripple factors and all. Okay. So first we'll understand circuit and how it works. So first, observe here, the first category or type of full wave rectifier is what we call it as center tap transformer. Okay. Here we will be using 2 diodes in the circuit. So as it is clearly visible from the circuit there, 2 diodes are used. And what do you mean by center tap transformer here? Center tap means, say, if there is any additional wire connected across the exact middle point of the secondary windings of the transformer, then that type of transformer will be called as tapped transformer or center tapped transformer. So here the wire is adjusted in such a way that it provides 2 separate secondary voltages. Okay, all right. So using this split 2 secondary voltages in the circuit and using them with 2 different diodes, we can achieve or we can get the output from both the cycles of say input signal. All right, let's observe how it works here. And please note here in the 1 second, here there is a line there, but it is not visible though. Okay, there is that connection is lost there because of the scanning process, but there is line there is a RL connected, okay, load resistance connected. So observe here how it works. Okay, so during the positive cycle, say when C is positive, D will be negative. Okay, I hope you are able to see the circuit there. When C is positive, D will be negative. So because of the forward bias condition, D1 will be conducting, okay, and D2 will be switched off, all right, because of it is reverse biased. So when C is positive and D1 is conducting, okay, then the current flow in the circuit will be, observe here, it will be from C D1, E, F, this is 0, or O, sorry, you can take it as O and going back to C. I'll repeat, the current flow in the path will be, when D1 is conducting, the current flow will be from C via D1, point E, F, O, and C going back. So this is a center tapped transformer there. All right. And observe the current flowing through via the load resistance I0 will be equal to ID1 because of the diode D1. Correct? All right. When D is positive and C is negative, when the secondary, at that secondary transformer, when D is positive and C is negative, D1 will be turned off, okay, and D2 will be conducting, right? So in that condition, observe the current flow. It will be from D2, okay, then E, F, and O, and back to D. So there is no connection here. Note here, there is a jumper there. There is no connection as such, okay. So the current path will be D via D2 diode, all right, going to E, F, O, and D, okay. And now if you observe the current via the load resistance RL, that is I0, will be ID2 because of the diode D2. And observe the direction of the current there. In both the case, when C is positive, current is from E to F, okay. And when D2 is conducting, even then the current direction will be from E to F, okay. So that means the polarity at the output of the output current and the voltage will be in the same direction. But what you have to note here is, during first half cycle, D1 will be conducting, so you'll be getting output across the RL, all right. In the next cycle, okay, in the next cycle when D is positive, D2 will be conducting, so because of that, you'll be again getting the output in the at the load, okay. At the load, you can find the output current and the output voltage. Okay, and what is this output voltage? What you're talking about? It is nothing but what is supplied here at the secondary transformer, right? That is V2. Yeah. So bring to your understanding that in the center tapped transformer type, okay, the secondary voltage can be split and used separately like this, okay, using a center tapped connection. So, assuming that you have understood the circuit and working there, all right, now observe the output. Observe the output. This is your input, sinusoidal input, what you have applied across the secondary of the transformer, okay. Then the output, what you can see here, first one is because of diode 1. When diode 1 is conducting in these direction, in these periods, say 0 to pi and 2 pi to 3 pi, okay. So the output you will get because of diode D1 only between 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi, and continuing there, all right. So in other words, I can say only during the positive cycles, right? And you can get the output, you are getting the output because of diode D2 conducting in the negative cycle, okay. But observe here, I didn't use negative cycle because it is not that the diode is reverse biased there, okay. Because of the center tap, D1, point D will be positive, which will make the diode D2 a forward bias. So I will not use reverse bias there or negative cycle, but in the next half cycle, the output you will get because of diode D2. These two are the two currents what you get because of the two diodes D1 and D2. The final output I0, is what is shown here. So in both the half cycles, right? In between 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi, and continuing from there, in both the half cycles, you will be getting output in the full wave rectifier. And finally, what you have here is your output voltage, V naught. Okay, V naught is equal to I naught into RL. I hope the waveforms are clearly visible there. Okay, so in full wave rectifier, you will be getting output in both the half cycles. So that you have to clearly understand. All right. So to proceed with the derivation of DC output load and current, observe here, we start from the same discussion there. If V1 is equal to Vm sin omega t, V1 is nothing but what you apply to the primary of the transformer. If you are taking it to be a AC signal, Vm sin omega t, and because of the ratio of the turn ratio of the transformer, the secondary voltage V2 will be given by N2 by N1 into V1, right? So assuming this ratio N2 by N1 to be 1, all right, and substituting V1 there, you have N2 by N1 into Vm sin omega t, right? Where V1 is your instantaneous AC supply voltage and V2 is the instantaneous secondary voltage. Okay, all right. So using that prerequisites and the assumption, we will proceed with the derivation. Are you with me so far? Are you with me so far? Can you? Okay. Yes. So we are proceeding in the same way there. We will take the equivalent circuit. Okay. Okay. All are attentive. Yes. Thank you. So proceeding in the same way, we will take the equivalent circuit there. Consider first only the diode 1 when diode 1 is conducting. Okay. When diode 1 is conducting and diode D2 is off. Okay. So the equivalent circuit will be like this, where you are replacing diode D1 with its internal resistance RF. So obviously we are talking about the practical diode here. Okay. Assuming the internal resistance of the diode to be RF. So the equivalent circuit when D1 is conducting, you will have the equivalent circuit like this. So I naught will be equal to ID1. Okay. So from there, similar to the discussion what we had in half wave rectifier, we will proceed there. Just you can follow me wherever you want to note down the important expression, you can take down. Okay. So I naught will be equal to V2 by RF plus RL, and taking the ratio N1 by N2 to be 1, we have V2 will be equal to Vm sin omega t, right? So now we will take I naught is equal to Vm by RF plus RL, considering the practical diode condition. All right. And I naught to be Im sin omega t between 0 to pi, taking one half cycle, considering only one half cycle because it is repeating every half cycle. So in the full wave rectifier, we will consider only half cycle, all right, because it is repeating. So here, scroll up, okay. Is this what you want to see, Jane? Okay. Okay. Can I proceed? Can I proceed? Yeah. Fine. Okay. So again, Im is equal to Vm by Rf plus RL. All right. And Im is your peak load current or the output current, what you can say. So IDC, that is DC load current, we know that it is nothing but we are taking the area under one cycle of the parameter, that is our current, by the base. So here we are taking for only half cycle, that is 0 to pi. All right. So this thing you have to understand there, and the difference between half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. Here you will be taking area under one cycle of the current by the base. Base here you will take for half cycle, that is 0 to pi. Okay. So you will have zero integration of the current between 0 to pi. Okay. And divided by the base is pi. That is pi minus 0, that is pi, right? So the calculation part, it goes like this. So you will take the 1 by pi outside and you will integrate your current I naught, which is Im sine omega t between 0 to pi, right? So integration of sine there minus cos, taking the Im outside, which is constant, okay? Taking Im outside, Im by pi into integration of sine minus cos omega t, and the limits will be 0 to pi. Substitute the limits there. Applying the limits, you have minus cos pi plus cos 0, which will come to 1 plus 1, right? So IDC will be equal to DC load current for the full wave rectifier. DC load current for full wave rectifier, it is 2 into Im by pi. And if you recall, compared to the half wave rectifier, it is twice of the half wave rectifier, because you are getting output in both the cycles, right? Both the positive and negative cycles. So obviously here it is twice that of the half wave rectifier, 2 Im by pi. I hope you are with me. Similarly, for DC load voltage, VDC, again, you can go taking the integration as such in a similar way, or you can go for applying Ohm's law there. VDC is equal to IDC into RL. Okay, substituting IDC, what we got here, 2 Im by pi, substituting that, 2 Im by pi into RL, where Im again you are substituting in terms of voltage. So 2 by pi, Im replaced with Vm by Rf plus RL into RL. So just rearranging and cancelling the RL in the numerator, you will get VDC is equal to 2 Vm by pi divided by 1 plus Rf plus RL. Again, if you observe there, compare with the half wave rectifier, it is twice that of the half wave rectifier. Am I fast? It is similar to what we had done in the half wave rectifier, so I'm going fast. But I believe you're noting down the derivation. Are you with me so far? Can I proceed? Okay. So, okay, thank you. Yes, we will proceed. Okay, fine. Yeah. Next, we'll move on to deriving the expression for RMS load current, IRMS. Again, RMS means we know it is the, how do we calculate that? We first actually, when we have a parameter which is varying continuously with respect to time, okay, first we will take the square of the term, okay. Generally, what is the procedure? We will split that parameter which is continuously varying. So at regular intervals, we'll take some value, we'll square it, then we'll take the mean of the squares, and we'll take root of the whole thing. That is, square root of the mean of the squares is nothing but your RMS value. Okay, and as I mentioned in the previous class, it is nothing but it is equivalent to the DC value, right? Right? Okay, so to do that, to find the IRMS, again, what we are doing here, we are taking the square of the current under one cycle for one period here. So period here, as I mentioned earlier, for full wave rectifier, we will take between 0 to pi because it is continuously repeating for further cycles. All right. Under the square root again. Square root, under the square root, you are taking the mean of the squares of the parameter. Since we are talking about IRMS, we are taking squares of the current values. All right. So going in a similar way, square root of 0 to pi I square by pi. Okay. I square, taking the square of the parameter that is current. All right. So again, in a similar way, take the pi constant outside, 1 by pi, integration of 0 to pi, I square, substitute there, 0 to pi, it is Im square sine square omega t under the square root. All right. So Im square, since it is a constant, we will take it outside. So it is under the square root. So it becomes Im there. So under square root, you have 1 by pi, 0 to pi. All right. You are substituting the equation for sine square omega t. Since you cannot directly use the integrate sine square, you are using the equation, right? So what is the equation there? What is the equation? You are applying cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta, right? So sine square theta will be 1 by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 theta. So theta here is omega t. So you will have sine square omega t is equal to 1 by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Correct? So applying that equation, you are splitting now. Then using the definite integral there, property of the definite integral, you are now taking integration in parts there. That is integration separately. So 1 by 2 Im into under the square root 1 by 2 pi, taking 2 outside there. So 0 to pi, the first term, 1 into d omega t minus 0 to pi cos 2 omega t d omega t, right? So integration of this first constant into with respect to d omega t will be equal to 1 into omega t, which will be omega t itself. So within the limit 0 to pi, and integration of cos 2 omega t, you have sine 2 omega t by 2. Correct? So substituting and simplifying that, applying the limits, you have Im under square root 1 by 2 pi into pi. So this cos 2 pi and sine 0, sine 2 pi and sine 0 will go to 0, right? So pi and pi will cancel. So under the square root, you have 1 by 2. So you will have IRMS is equal to Im by root 2. I hope you are with me. Just in integration, applying the limits and integration. I hope you are following. Similarly, going for further RMS load voltage, VRMS. Are you noting down? Am I fast? Should I go slow?
Yes, ma'am.
Should I go slow? Okay. There is S, but I didn't understand the S is for what. Should I go slow? Okay. Okay. Fine. So are you here? If you're here, I'll just go back there. Derivation part. Verify if you are able to follow the steps. Let me know when to proceed. So try VRMS now yourself. Try VRMS and reply here in the chat box. Derive the expression for VRMS and give the result in the chat box. Let me see. It will not take so much time there. VRMS.
Ma'am, should I tell?
No. You enter in the chat box. Okay, Ashrija. Let others try it. That's what I mean. That's all. Yeah, Samrudh, correct. Very good. Aditya Satvik, yes, correct. Oh. Okay, getting answers. Yeah. Now observe here, typically if RF is equal to 0, then VRMS will be equal to VM by root 2, right? Do you observe that? VRMS is equal to VM by root 2. So that is what we will be using in our problems to find the VRMS or even VM. Good. Yeah, I'm getting reply there. Those who have problem, see there, just substitution. VRMS is equal to IRMS into RL. So IRMS you have just derived there. It is IM by root 2 into RL. Substitute IM with VM by RF plus RL. So you'll have VRMS is equal to VM by root 2 by 1 plus RF plus RL. So you can expect, see, in all these topics, you can expect derivation of either for say half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier. So again here you might expect derivation for DC load current or voltage or RMS load current or voltage. All these derivations are important. Okay, at least one derivation and say a problem can be expected here. Okay. All right. I think we are almost at the time now. So rest of the derivations we will continue in the next class. If you have anything to ask or share,